welcome into another edition of Coach's Corner. I'm joined now by head coach of the Knights NAHL program, and that's Tom Kowal. And Coach, you guys are coming off a weekend off here after beating the previously unbeaten Philadelphia Rebels last week on a Wednesday game. Let's start there. You guys play a really good team in Philadelphia last week on Wednesday on an afternoon game here at home. You played what looked like a pretty sound game from start to finish and beat what is obviously a really good team. What were your impressions coming away with that win?
You know, anytime you can beat a team that's never been beaten already this year, you know, I mean, it's we always talk about it. We have a history with the Rebels, whether it's Aston, whether it's Philly, it's still the Rebels, and still, you know, whenever we can walk away with a victory, you know, they always have a good club, you know, especially going into break. You know, when you don't play for a week and a half, you want to have a good memory when you have a break to come back to the rink on to talk about a positive. So it was very, you know, pleasing from the staff to see our players come out and get a good victory there in the middle of the week. You know, tough game because we went through that slump and we had, you know, 3 weekends in a row with, you know, or 2 weekends in a row with 3 games, and then that Wednesday, you know, to finish that off, we're pretty happy as a staff on what we finished up. And, you know, like I said, a win against the Rebels, I'll take it any day of the week.
Well, you mentioned that you guys had a lot of games in that stretch, 2 back-to-back 3-game weekends and then a midweek game. But in that stretch, you guys have come up with a 6-game point streak. Now, granted, 2 of those were overtime losses, but you have picked up some points of late, you know, moving forward at 6 in a row now. You know, again, I know we've talked about it in these interviews in the past. You know, you obviously don't want to settle for overtime losses, but what have you seen from your team in the recent games, you know, whether it's just that long stretch of back-to-back on weekends, followed by another one similarly, but what have you seen from your team that's resulting in that kind of resiliency to come out at least with 1 point, and then obviously 2 in most of those games to pick up the pace here as we move to November?
Well, the topic in the locker room right now is every time we've lost a game this year, except for one time, we've lost by 1 goal. Mm-hmm. And that's 1 shot on net, that's 1 save, that's 1 less mistake. You know, so coming, you know, building off that, you know, we're you know, kind of unconditional right now. We're having a tough start in games, but we're finishing strong. Sure. So if we can just figure out how to, you know, as a staff, we're really focusing on getting the guys better prepared to start the game, because it seems like we get better as the game goes on. But we need to figure out how to play a first period of good hockey. But you know. Our topic right now is just, you know, we're 1 mistake away from being undefeated. You know, we need to tighten up our game. You know, we're a quarter way through the season now, so it's you know, time to climb the ladder, and we want to, you know, we're not selling for 4th place, 5th place. We're going after number 1.
Right, now last time we sat down and talked with you, you guys were still adjusting to a bunch of new defensemen that you picked up. One of those guys in a trade that you picked up from Amarillo, Anthony Furiolo, has come in here and he's had quite the start with you guys. I mean, he came in with 1 assist, I believe, in 11 games, and he's had a point or more in every game he's played for you. You talked about him in a prior, you know, sit down as a guy you wanted to add offense and a guy you wanted to come in and contribute on the power play, and he's done just that. I believe he's had 5 assists in 4 games with you now. What have you liked about his game, and what do you think he can continue to bring in terms of power play, but also offense in general?
No, I mean, it's no secret. He came in and putting points on the board. That's why we brought him here. You know, that was an element we thought we were missing on our blue line. You know, I thought we had some really good, solid defensemen, but we didn't really have anyone that was adding that offensive touch. And obviously, you know, our power play couldn't get much worse before he got here, but he's really added a threat now. Now it's you know, now we have a quarterback up there. Now we have a guy that, you know, we're down by 1, we're down by 2, or we're up by 1, whatever. You know, he's a guy that brings a lot of offensive ability, and you know, and it's a pleasure to have him back there. You know, I mean, it's really helped energize a lot of our guys by having a defenseman that kind of has the poise, the patience, has a little experience in the league, but more importantly, yeah, you said it, Tim. Our power play is, you know, now we're a threat. Now it's, you know, you don't want to decline the penalty. Now it's, we want the power play because we feel you know, we're gonna, if we don't score, we're gonna make some good attempts, and we're gonna make an attempt to put a goal on the board.
after the weekend off, you guys will head into this upcoming weekend with a 3-game set with the division-leading Northeast Generals. You had a 3-game set a couple weeks back against them, in which you went 1-1-1. What adjustments do you want to make against that team? Again, relative to last time you faced them, and a team again that's been offensively explosive as well, like you guys, but also a team that continues to give everyone in this division problems.
No, we were not happy at all with our outcome after the 3-game weekend here at home. It's been the staff has been very clear with our players that what our goal is for the weekend going into the Northeast. But they're a team ahead of us right now, and anytime there's a team ahead of us, those are games you got to win. If you're going to keep climbing the ladder, you got to beat the teams above you. And Northeast done a great job turning around after their season last year, but we feel we can play the offense with them. We just got to limit our mistakes. We felt watching film that we tried to do too much. We got caught up playing the Northeast game. If we just play night hockey, we feel very strong. We felt we gave away that last one, giving up a goal late in the game and then an overtime. But ultimately, we're not satisfied with 1-1-1 record, and we will have a better record this weekend going into the Northeast when we talk next week.
Sure, absolutely. And the Knights will be in action this upcoming weekend, all 3 games on their own Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can check the NAHL.com schedule for game times in each of those. They'll all be broadcast on HockeyTV.com. You can follow along at WBS Knights on Twitter this weekend for live updates, as well as Instagram at Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights. But Tom, we thank you here for giving us a few moments, and we look forward to seeing you guys out there this weekend.
Thank you very much.